Hey everybody, welcome to Yes Have Some. We wish this was not what we were doing. This is kind of a special tribute to Ivan Reitman, who passed last week. We haven't said anything, publicly. We haven't done any kind of dedication or anything like that. Mainly because when you're so fresh in the moment, it's really hard to kind of like get your thoughts together, put your words together. And so many people were offering all of these incredible, tributes and dedications. So we waited about a week, and we wanted to, set some time aside to just talk about Ivan, talk about his career, talk about our Ghostbusters fandom, what he meant to all of us, and that's what we're going to do. So we thank you for being here, whether you're on the audio feed or here on YouTube. We always have fun because at the end of the day, Ivan's career is a fun career to talk about. His movies are incredible. He will be remembered with a legacy as one of the great comedic directors and producers of all time. So it's very sad to lose somebody you love and respect, but we're here to hopefully say some words, and if maybe you'll be able to find some closure or get something out of it. We just wanted to do it. So Abby, how are you?
I'm doing well. We were able to talk in our small group in I don't know what you call this, the Patreon group actually, about Ivan immediately after, the day after, I believe.
Oh, in our Zoom page.
Zoom, yeah. I felt like that was a really nice discussion. It was a good opportunity to be around other people. And it did kind of crush me, honestly, like a ton of bricks. I immediately didn't really feel like posting anything. I just felt very private about the news. I felt very saddened, honestly, because Ivan Reitman has been a big part of Craig, your and I's life, and then of Yes Have Some's life and trajectory. He's been there at pivotal points.
Pivotal points.
We have fun, and it's just it just hit me really hard, like a family member passing kind of a feeling. Like I wanted to take a day and then just kind of be around friends.
Sure. Jake, how are you, man?
I'm okay. It's just a bummer. It's just the biggest bummer possible. And it's also it sucks that the timing is really, really awful because we're kind of all riding this Ghostbusters high right now because of the, afterlife and everything. And then it's oh, okay. Also, right. Today's February the 24th, which is also the anniversary of Harold's passing. So
yep. It's been 8 years, which is absolutely has it been 7 or 8? It's crazy to think about. It feels like no time has passed at all. And as a Ghostbusters fan, there's been so much that has happened in those 8 years, and obviously so much that's happened in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But Jake, we got to say happy birthday. You celebrated a birthday yesterday.
Not on this episode.
No, we have to. You acknowledge the good and the bad.
Yeah, you can celebrate.
You.
So listen, Ivan Reitman has had this amazing career. I suggest that everybody, if you can, go back and listen to his interview he did on the WTF podcast with Mark Maron. From 2014, they reposted it. His story was unbelievable. He escaped communism with his parents from Czechoslovakia, I believe, and basically was on the bottom of a boat hiding, and came to Canada at 5 years old, and then grew up and had this incredible career, and was so pivotal in.
Neither one of you guys can say the word pivotal today.
It's really tough.
It's tough, and it's. I'm going to get choked up when I talk about it. But if you think about who he worked with and who he molded and how he developed, how he basically discovered Dan Aykroyd as an announcer in Canada, and was one of the first. He was the outsider of the group to try to wrangle in Harold Ramis and Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. And, according to Ivan, it took him a while for them to accept him. I think Bill Murray was pretty rude to him the first couple of interactions, but, and then just goes on to, produce Animal House and obviously Meatballs and Stripes and Ghostbusters. So it's one of those weird things. We're all born in like 84, 85. He's been in our lives forever, has produced countless of, incredible movies that will last generations, like hundreds of years from now, assuming that the world is still here. And by the looks of it, it might not be, but it's just what a depressing.
Keeping it positive on YHS.
Everyone's like, "This is my first episode."
It's hard
of YHS.
today.
Yeah,
today's a hard day.
It is. It's true.
Jake, what do you think about the legacy? Like when you think about his movies, I mean, I don't know another comedy director that at least in our lifetime, that even comes close.
Yeah, I mean, even if you take Ghostbusters out of it, there's, tons of other films that he's responsible for either directing or producing. And I was looking at the list today of just his producer credits, and all. He's done a ton. There was like, oh, I didn't know he, had a hand in this or this. And also you just have to think like what you just mentioned about kind of discovering Dan Aykroyd. We joke around about Dan Aykroyd a lot. He is amazing, but he's a lot. He's a lot to deal with. He's like a ball of energy
and fire.
And he seems like maybe he's scary or intimidating to try to. But like Ivan Reitman, like looked at Dan Aykroyd and all of whatever's happening and was like, nope, I'm gonna take this guy. We'll calm him down a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like he reins him in, and he knows how to direct him in a way to, make
magic.
I think he
magic,
understands people. Yeah, like I think there's obviously Jason Reitman has a super deep understanding of the way that like human and family dynamics work. I think he got that, I imagine, from his dad, who seems to really understand how people work and how to pair people and how to get like that chemistry to happen.
Well, when you listen to, I 100% agree. When you listen to interviews with Ivan, when he talked about filmmaking, and him and Jason talk about like how important, the most important thing is the narrative and the story, and the characters have to service the story, and even the improvisations have to service the characters and the story. Mm-hmm. And if you even Ghostbusters is like, to me, a perfect movie. Like there's not a wasted second on screen. Every single thing that is you're seeing or hearing or doing or observing completely leads to the next thing, into this, and it just unravels into this perfect narrative. And I think that's kind of the thing, comedy, sometimes it's kind of overlooked. And maybe with modern comedy, like we've moved into the era of, not now, but like over the last 10, 15 years, we've moved into that like Judd Apatow era of comedy, where like he's genius in his own right, but it's a different approach, and it's, let's throw 40 lines against the wall and figure out which one's best. What was it? Anchorman 2, they put out like a completely alternate movie with just different jokes. And like, that doesn't seem like that would fly in the world of like Ivan Reitman. Like he is about, getting the script down, analyzing it page by page, and like
it's controlled chaos. Like you
don't have a conversation, Dan.
What?
Don't have a conversation, Dan.
Well,
yes.
let's talk.
I would like all footage, and I only have one short video on my phone from the red carpet event of the premiere of Afterlife, where Ivan Reitman is pulling Dan Aykroyd away from the fans because Dan is like in his own world talking. And I feel like that. I know that happened all the time on set. That's what you're referencing, Jake. Is that like deleted?
Yeah, that outtake.
The dailies, the dailies from the. If you go back and watch the dailies from in the new box set from the courtroom scene in Ghostbusters, at one point, Dan Aykroyd just decides to do like a little improv,
not unlike me or Jake,
mimicked conversation in the background, and you just hear Ivan off camera going, "Don't have a conversation, Dan." And he's like, "Sorry."
He was overacting in the background. It was great.
But if you listen, I mean, I think Ivan was tough. I think he was hard to please because he was a perfectionist, but it shows in his work. Like, there's countless stories from other people who have written or tried to develop stuff with Ivan. And like, I laughed so hard. Who was it? It was either, I think it was Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel, like around the time The Man Show was really popular. I think Adam Carolla told the story on a podcast where him and Jimmy were like developing a comedy, him and Jimmy Kimmel, and Ivan was going to produce it. And they went off to write the script, and they brought the script to Ivan to review it. And Adam Carolla was like, he just yelled at us for an hour. He was like, this is not what we talked about. What the fuck are you doing? And that sounds harsh, but like, that's the I want to know about that Ivan. Like,
I want to know that Ivan. Yeah, I want to know the not public persona. And I mean, like, we were also just this isn't to say that like Ivan's mean, or anything. It's just like I feel like
the body of work.
He has.
I feel like being stern. I feel like having the expectations and being stern and knowing what you want. Like if you're putting money up and you're producing or you're going to direct or something, like that's how. Not being that way is how garbage movies get made constantly. Yep. It just is,
Be more like Ivan Reitman is what I say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's put that on a shirt.
I like that.
I do too.
I like that. Howard Stern, famously made Private Parts in 1996, was produced by Ivan Reitman. And, I was listening to Howard last week, talked about Ivan passing, and he credits Ivan Reitman fully for
revamping the script.
Well, not just that, like they couldn't get the script down. Howard Stern had no idea how to act. They had no idea how to make this movie, and they had written like something like 20 versions of the script. And finally, Ivan got a hold of Howard Stern, called him on the phone, and said, "This is your movie." Laid out the whole plot. And Howard was like, "Oh, of course it is." And Ivan's like, "Yeah, I know. This is who's going to write it." Hired the writer, did the script, and found the director, and, produced the movie. I don't think a lot of people, like, I barely know what a director does. I kind of don't know what a producer does. But as you start talking about it, you realize that, like, he has his hands into every aspect from, casting, creative, script, We have all heard stories of Steven Spielberg producing a movie and just, kind of directing it at the same time. I don't doubt that Ivan was doing that. Maybe on Space Jam. He directed a couple scenes with Bill Murray. I don't know. So I got out his Wikipedia here to kind of go through some of these movies. And once we kind of talk about some of the stuff, I also want to talk about some of our personal connections to Ivan and some of the stories that we've, probably shared in the past, but just some really fun stuff. The one thing that is amazing to me is how many, like when Ivan passed, so many of our friends, people in the Ghostbusters community, all these people had like these personal interactions. They've met Ivan. They've talked to him. He might not realize it, or maybe did not realize it. I hope he did, that since the launch of Ghost Corps in the last 5 or 6 years, he connected on a level with the fandom that I think it's unprecedented in any, like, you don't hear about this about George Lucas or Steven Spielberg or any director. Like, people have these memories and these interactions. Yeah,
I was going to kind of bring that up when we got to that part. Like, Ghostbusters is in my, if I was ranking my favorite movies of all time, Ghostbusters is in the top 3, right? It's weird to be like, your favorite movie of all time, you're gonna bump into the director multiple. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna, I don't want to say the word hang out, but you're gonna have conversations with him. You're gonna have breakfast with him one day. You're gonna be around to a point where he maybe recognizes who you are at this point. And it's that's such a weird, that's never going to happen with Steven Spielberg. You know what I mean? But like that has happened.
Sorry,
Ivan,
Jake, but it's not.
It's definitely.
I know. I'm just saying it's such a weird.
Taken off the lot.
He would, yeah.
He would.
I mean, I think about when we got that, have that opportunity to go into Ghost Corps and make that video. And we found like the big chair in the conference room, and we're like, "Oh, this is Ivan's. This is Ivan's chair."
We leaned against it and we took a picture.
So again, I don't see any circumstance that puts us in the office of basically any other movie director. So
no, it's never going to happen.
Too high up, and too far away.
But
that like intimate, familial, like connection that we all had with Ivan Reitman and with Ghost Corps, because of like them interacting with us, and Eric Reich obviously like keeping in touch with the different Ghostbusters chapters, etc., and like patches and doing all that stuff, felt like it was it was bringing us in and like building the family foundation like even more so. And I feel like that's been really solidified, especially since like the events that you're referencing with the 2016.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the trailer event and the premiere and then Fan Fest, like Ivan Reitman, and in his later years, made himself accessible to this obsessive fan base. Like, Ivan Reitman at Fan Fest, I mean, you guys remember, he sat out in the sun under a tent in 85-degree weather, just signing autographs for 2 or 3 hours and just interacting. And he was very nice and very cordial and very patient because how the fans can get. We've seen them, we've been them. And Abby, I don't. We haven't talked about this since he passed, and I'm not doing this to try to elicit a.
I already got choked up while Jake was crying. It's okay.
An emotional reaction from you.
While Jake was talking. Jake's like, was I crying already?
No, I was like, I didn't know you could tell.
Yeah, I could.
When you got up, you got an autograph from Ivan in that line, and he was asking you about your tattoo and wanted to know the story behind it.
And
it was like this really.
It's Antigone, and it's it's a beautiful woman, and it's Greek. Also, I have Czechoslovakian roots, so there's always some sort of a weird feeling of connection. But he asked me about my tattoo, and
he didn't ask me anything.
Well,
move on.
To go on to another story, though, the little trailer event for Answer the Call that we went to, I think the best part of that whole event was getting to chat with Ivan when he was coming around doing table touches. That was actually, in retrospect, the best thing that happened. That. It was better than the trailer.
It was.
And that was just you and I there.
Right. Again, crazy that we had those experiences. And then we're kind of jumping all around, but then at Fan Fest, when the cast and crew went around and shook hands and took pictures, and Ivan went and sat and did 5 or 10 minutes at every table and just had a conversation. Again,
he's the only one that did that at Fan Fest.
Yeah. And I know they're trying to build up, hype for the new movie and get people excited and have goodwill within the franchise, but it seems above and beyond. It's more than I would do. Jake, is it more than it's definitely more. Hey, Jake, go. Let's have a YHS fest, and you go sit down at every table for 10 minutes.
Well, I wouldn't even show up.
Oh my god.
We know.
Put him in the shoe line.
So, okay, let's go through some of these movies. Now, I am ashamed to admit this. I've never seen Cannibal Girls. And you can watch it on YouTube. It's his first, him and Eugene Levy. He made the movie for $10,000. Jake, have you seen this?
I haven't either, and I'm also kind of ashamed about it. But another thing that, so I'm looking at his, his producer credits and his directing credits, and there's something weird that happened in the late 70s with Ivan Reitman, and I wonder, and it's something that I wish I could have maybe talk to him about it if John Urcabo would have stopped talking at the FanFest dinner.
In some universes, John is still talking.
But he directed Cannibal Girls, and then he produced a string of. He did Shivers, which is I believe it's a Cronenberg directed movie, which is a great movie.
Uh-huh.
But in a row, the next 4 films are all horror films or thriller movies about home invasions or revenge films, and it makes me wonder if since that was such early Ivan Reitman, if he almost just went down completely different path. You know what I mean? He could have been doing horror films his whole career.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he definitely produced two or three of those early Cronenberg movies, had a relationship with him, and it's so. I mean, I've never seen Shivers, but it's just so completely antithetical to what
Shivers Shivers and Rabbit are both movies I was aware of, but was unaware that Ivan Reitman had a hand in either one of those.
Well, there's a story Jason Reitman told in some podcast at some point. I've tried to consume every piece of Ghostbusters content available. That's why we keep doing podcasts. I just want more content. So I'm going to go listen to my own shit. Jason Reitman told the story of finding Ivan's laser disc of Nightmare on Elm Street. I think Ivan was a horror. I mean, obviously, if you're a film fan, you're going to be a fan of all the different genres, but I think horror meant something to him for sure.
Yeah.
We should look into that more. Yeah, that would have been cool.
And
to
let's
talk
watch
to.
Cannibal Girls.
And let's watch Cannibal
That'd be
Girls.
cool.
We'll do it this weekend.
Yeah, we'll do it on the big
Do
screen.
it this weekend. We'll do an episode about it.
Oh, Cannibal Girl review coming up.
Cool.
Obviously produced Animal House. He wanted to direct it, but later on said that he loved the way it turned out. And who directed Animal House? John Landis. He said that it would have been a completely different movie than what John Landis did, and John
Landis pre-helicopter.
Okay. Well, you can't. Jake can't not.
I can't let it go.
Yeah,
he killed a guy. I can't.
Okay. And then starting with this directing run is crazy. Meatballs, Stripes, Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Legal Eagles, which I've never seen. I gotta watch it. I'm not gonna lie. Who's in Legal Eagles? Let's look it up. It is Robert Redford, Daryl Hannah, Deborah Winger. Okay, these are major stars of the 80s.
I was about to say that's a cast.
That's a cast right there. And then he goes Twins, Ghostbusters 2, Kindergarten Cop, Dave. And Arnold Schwarzenegger credits, Ivan Reitman for basically giving Arnold a chance to do comedy. And we watched Kindergarten Cop last year. Mm-hmm. Was Ivan right about Arnold?
Yeah. He's got the comedic chops.
The chops.
I think he's get to the chops. Sorry.
No. Hey.
No.
No more helicopter references.
I apologize. That was the second. It was unintentional. Yeah, definitely having that eye for who has a kind of like how James Gunn sees in John Cena that really funny side that not everyone saw.
Meatballs is not a movie that I've watched too many times, just a handful of times. I think as a kid I shied away from it because it was it's a younger Bill Murray. To me, Stripes is when it's like the catapult, Stripes and Ghostbusters. To me, when I was a kid, that was the same universe. They're kind of playing the same characters. Bill Murray's the wise ass, and Harold Ramis is kind of the cynical and smarter friend. And in my head, when I was a kid, I was like, "Oh, it's just Egon. That's just Egon right there." And then obviously Ghostbusters 2, which we all have a deep love for. And you know what I loved over the last couple of years as Ivan did more press and did more interviews, and Ghostbusters 2 has become more of a there's more love given to that movie. He always comes out and he always said, I like Ghostbusters 2. I think that Bill and Sigourney led a romantic comedy and did a great job. And then he would always say, the ending wasn't great, and I disagree. Statue of Liberty, walking down, through New York is the most important moment. It's the most important moment in cinema history. But I don't know. I mean, do you think Ghostbusters 2 got the love and Ivan started seeing that or appreciated it? Or do you think he led the charge of letting people know, no, this is a good movie?
Yeah, he seems like the kind of person, that isn't gonna he's not gonna back down if he hears people talking shit, He's gonna be like, no, listen, you guys are wrong, and Ghostbusters 2 is good. That could just be me talking, but I feel like it's me talking, invoking Ivan Reitman. Yeah.
Dave Jr., Father's Day, 6 Days, 7 Nights. By the way, I've never seen 6 Days, 7 Nights, but I had the DVD because I think it came with my DVD player. And I had it on my shelf. Yeah, I never watched it. Dave has gotten a lot of love. I haven't seen that movie in 30 years, so I want to go back and revisit it. Sigourney Weaver is in that one. And then Abby, we did a whole episode dedicated. We went through an evolution phase in 2019.
We did.
We did not forget evolution.
You used to have toys, didn't you? Didn't you buy the toys?
Yeah,
you got them?
Yeah. Oh yeah, with the soap and everything. Yeah. Well, Dan Aykroyd's kind of reprising his role. I love that. It's kind of an underappreciated movie, I'd say.
I mean, it's interesting that was around the time that there was all the talk of Ghostbusters 3 and that. I'm not going to say that Julianne Moore and David Duchovny and Sean William Scott were on the level of Harold, Dan, and Bill, but Evolution's a fun watch. It really is.
Yeah.
It is. And then, he produced, like you guys said, just a ton of movies. Space Jam, Private Parts, produced Up in the Air, which was the first time he worked with Jason. Obviously produced Answer the Call, and Ghostbusters Afterlife, and that's kind of where I want to get to. Let's roundtable us, Abby.
Yeah,
we've consumed a lot of the Jason and Ivan, the partnership, the reverence they have for each other. We saw that clip from FanFest, the one where Ivan starts getting choked up.
Yeah.
I watched it. I stumbled upon it again. It hits really hard now.
Yeah.
Because it almost seemed at that time he was like, when he says that line, he says, we were just young men and they were in their 30s. It's like he had that realization, like, man, time is caught up with everybody. Harold's not even with us anymore. We all have that it's almost like he was starting to kind of see that, grasp with his own mortality a little bit. I mean, that's reading a lot into it, but I think we all go through that.
Yeah.
I don't know, just no specific questions, but
you talking about it just makes me kind of get choked up, because that was like it was a stressful day, and
yes,
there was chaos running amok, but there were memories being made, and there was a lot of things to laugh at and a lot of good conversations. We met a lot of people, but by the end of that night, sitting on the lawn, just the conversation on the couch between Jason and Ivan made up for anything that went wrong that day. And it literally, it was just a really special thing to be sitting on the grass at the Sony lot and to have Ray Parker Jr. playing afterwards. But to see that like real conversation between father and son, knowing that was going to be foundational and woven into the next movie with Afterlife, that like grounded me and made me feel like I could hope and love again and like look forward to a movie, another Ghostbusters movie that maybe has some of the original ingredients. And it was really special just to be with Troy and Chris and everyone, surrounded with our friends, listening to Jason and Ivan having like a one-on-one. Very special. I don't know any other director of any movie or anyone who's modeled that type of paternal like relationship. And it's something that I kind of idolize and look at, and it's really special. And I know that it's not like Jason and Ivan have probably always been like, it's not a perfect road, but they've been on, and coming together to make Afterlife, like that kind of a thing, reconciling. And then the Harold Ramis story, like that, it just gets me, like it makes me want to be back in that night. Honestly, it was kind of a special moment.
And it wasn't just that, like we got the chance to see that in person, and then we saw them again at New York Comic Con. Jake, I was sitting next to you. How fucking pumped was Ivan Reitman at New York Comic Con?
He was screaming.
4 or 5 miles.
He was literally screaming like a madman, and it was sort of shocking, but also like just really exciting to see that he was genuinely like
a let's go.
He said, "Let's show it."
Let's
he screamed it. I think we have it on film. He screams like, "Let's show it," and he's so genuinely excited for everybody to see like what his son has done.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, I don't know if it was there, but Jason said like at that, like nobody had seen Afterlife more than Ivan. Like he consumed it. He helped with editing it. He gave notes on it. He was there on set. Like that movie, it's as much I mean, obviously Jason and Gil wrote it and it's Jason's movie, but Ivan, he was not there just by name only. He's
proud of it. It's his grandchild. You know what I mean? Like he's Afterlife's grandfather. He's like proud of it. It's like it's his son's, but his son is his, so it's like right. You know what I mean?
And how
the ultimate legacy.
How kind of poetic is it that in this last chapter of Ivan's career, they launched Ghost Corps with the intention of bringing Ghostbusters back in a big way. They do answer the call. It does what it does. They kind of retreat to figure out what's next. Jason steps up with this idea, and Ivan says, "You have to write this movie." And that turned, like, it wasn't supposed to be his last project. He's been developing Triplets, the Twins sequel. I almost said the Twins reboot. The Twins sequel with Arnold and Danny DeVito, which he was going to direct. He obviously is not going to be able to do that now, and we don't know if that movie's going to still move forward. But Afterlife, from shooting, from pre-production in 2018 into 2019, and then all of the delays, and then finally the release in November of 2021, that was his grand finale. I'm gonna get choked up.
I already have been crying over it.
I know, but like
I haven't been able to watch Afterlife since.
Yeah, I mean, I know it sucks. It fucking sucks. Ivan Reitman at 75 years old, on stage at New York Comic Con in front of 3,000 people, just giving it, just saying, watch this, and just also knowing how good it was.
Yeah.
Like being like, you're about to get
Just the
fucked
corrective
up.
experience.
Yeah,
Dude, that's part of
fuck up.
Whenever I see, whenever I've talked to a few people who maybe aren't big Ghostbusters fans, just like the normal people or whatever, whenever you talk to them and they're like, yeah, the new Ghostbusters was fine, or you read reviews where people don't like it or something, it's like, I want each one of them, I want to be like, listen, you don't understand. You need to watch this interview with Ivan and Jason. You need to you should have been at FanFest.
I thought you were saying you go to film school.
You need to go to film school. First of all, get a fucking education. Get some culture. It's weird. Like, it's almost like, once you've seen Ivan and Jason have those kind of conversations, it just puts Afterlife on a completely different level.
It's a different perspective.
Knowing them in that sort of way.
Yeah. Yeah. This was a family affair. I mean, Ghost Corps, it feels like a small, tight-knit family. The Ghostbusters community and the fandom, it's we've talked about it so much. There's definitely kind of like a unique bond and connection that happens with this movie, because at its core, Ghostbusters is a movie about three dudes who got fired. They were like, fuck, what are we gonna do? Like, well, let's just start a ghost catching business. Like, okay. Like, so Abby, you talk about a lot, that underdog spirit, and even though Ivan Reitman was tremendously successful, incredibly,
if you're coming and immigrating though from another country, and like you're coming across on a boat, you're kind of an underdog.
You're an underdog.
You gotta assimilate and find your way. Etc. So I think that spirit's there 100%.
Yeah.
It's there in Stripes and it's there in Ghostbusters.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was always a little bittersweet that Ivan didn't get to direct a Ghostbusters 3, but I think what we got with how I always go, that speech I've been giving for 2 years about how Afterlife's the most unlikely version of a Ghostbusters sequel. This even adds more to that, and like you see those photos of Ivan in on set in the flight suit standing with Jason, and it's just like, you can't write a storybook ending, and nobody wants Ivan to pass. I mean, 75 it's old, but it's not. 75 feels way different than 85. Like, especially since
it felt like a shock, I'd say.
Well, I think we were all shocked, yeah. But even like we saw him at the premiere in November, and he's on the red carpet, and him and Jason gave another speech, and I felt proud to be a Ghostbusters fan, and I was happy for them. I was like, this is really cool that this is how this is all playing out. So yeah, this was it was tough. It was a tough week, I think, for everybody. I think that Ghostbusters is not Ghostbusters. It doesn't exist without Ivan Reitman, right? Like, even though we all want to read Dan Aykroyd's first script, where I
don't know if
you don't want to.
I don't know if I have time for that.
Have you ever read the story about, this is a little side, like the shooting script for the Blues Brothers is like 300 pages long, and like there's like long like asides and like deep descriptions about like things about like the Catholic Church and why.
That's amazing.
It is.
That's actually amazing.
And like Harold and Ivan pared it down and took the initial concept of like, Ivan looked at the script and said, okay, there's like 300 giant monsters in here. There's all these fantastical elements, but stripping all that away, the concept of,
a business.
Ghostbusters being like, firefighters or janitors or exterminators, that is the most interesting concept. Let's take that and expand about that in like the real world. And that was all Ivan and Harold. Like they were the, that pair. It sucks. I just can't believe they're gone. I really can't. We're all collectors.
Yeah, we're left with movies to watch, and all of us being bonded together, specifically the three of us through Ghostbusters, and I think that's a good takeaway.
Before we didn't. This is not going to be like a 2-hour episode or anything. We just wanted to get our thoughts out and share them with you guys. Jake, you got the chance to meet Ivan a couple times. You got some photos with him. Do you have anything like any autographs or stuff signed by him?
Yeah, I mean, I got a really sweet Slimer mask with his autograph.
That mask.
Yeah, I got the Slimer mask. At a fan fest, I did. I have a poster, a Ghostbusters poster with the Ecto one that I just has a lot of different autographs on it. He's on there, and then I have a really really nice 8x10 of him direct, when he was directing Ghostbusters. So yeah, I got a couple things that are
that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got that stuff. I got that. Thank you to AJ Quick for bringing the license plates.
Yeah, that's what
I. Oh right, you got the license plate.
So I've got a license plate signed by Ernie, Dan, and Ivan. There's a corner left for Bill. Let's just call that piece done.
Yeah. Maybe at Martha's. Are you going to bring it to Martha's venue?
I am. I'm going to put it in front of my car.
It's easy.
We're going to bring it. Well, don't put it on the front of your car because
I know
it'll get shit on.
Nope. I'll skip. Bring it
I
to.
didn't know you were from New York.
Bring it to the golf resort next year.
Yeah,
we'll go to golf. We'll do golf.
Oh yeah, we'll do the golf.
We'll do the golf.
We'll do some golf.
Doing some golf.
We've got some stuff signed by Ivan, and then like we didn't mention it, but not obviously, maybe you don't know this, but like when I proposed to Abby to get married, Ivan Reitman was generous enough with his time to make a video to do the proposal for him because I didn't know how to ask. So I'll just get Ivan Reitman to do it. So again, the fact that I was able to arrange that and he did it. Yes, it's in Ghost Heads. No, it was not made. Like, let's just clear this up. That was not made for Ghost Heads. They used it.
Used later.
I gave them my permission to use it, but that was just something
because they were wanting to like finish the story, etc.
Abby, they were trying to finish
our storyline. Yeah.
Some say that your story hasn't even been written.
Yeah, but like you know what? Fuck all that. What I'm talking about is the actual proposal video. Was a huge deal, and it was the beginning of a big long relationship, honestly, and like it was the beginning
journey. Of YHS too.
Yeah, 100%. And I remember watching that video, and I'll just say it, I don't really have great parental ties. I don't really have, that kind of stuff. So when it comes to having someone that's an icon, but that's like willing to participate in something special like that for us, it was really meaningful for me.
Yeah.
It's a really nice thing to go back and look at too.
Yeah, I hadn't watched it in a long time. But I did watch it last week, and it's special. It's just one of the special connections that we got to have, and man, fuck, more than anything, our hearts go out to his family, obviously to Jason and everybody at Ghost Square, everybody who worked with him. It's a huge loss. It really, there's no other way to put it. It sucks. It's the one part of life that that's a real bummer, is that it ends, and more than most people, Ivan got to do a lot and make an impact and leave a legacy that's going to last for generations. So but that doesn't make any, like, nobody feels bad.
Yeah, there's nothing really you can say that makes it better.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
It sucks, and I do wonder, like, I know everybody has the question, like, what's going to happen with Ghostbusters and Ghost Corps, and like, Ghostbusters will go on, and it's in good hands, and people care about the franchise and want it to move forward. And, we're not worried about that. We just hope everybody's able to pay their respects however they pay them, and
grieve. Yeah.
And grieve.
Get through shit.
Go through the grieving process. Do we have any final thoughts?
I mean, it sucks, and it's painful, and we have each other.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you can say.
Yeah.
That's all you can say. Well, I'm happy we had the chance to do this. If if anybody wants to have a good laugh, throw on anything Ivan's worked on, except for maybe, what was it? Shiver? Is that what it's called?
Shivers? Oh, it's not a funny movie. Well, I mean, it's sort of funny, but
yeah.
Watch Cannibal Girls with us this weekend.
Yeah.
We'll do a watch along.
Now, I noticed that Ivan did not recast Eugene Levy in anything until Ghostbusters 2, and then he cut him out of that. Yeah. So what's going on with that?
Well, if you'd seen Eugene Levy's performance, he was
calling out Eugene Levy.
Yeah, a little bit hard. Back up.
Now, if you watch those new
Ghostbusters, it's our Ivan Reitman memorial episode, and you're just talking shit about Eugene Levy.
I love Eugene Levy.
Wow. Gee, I don't know if I can, Lewis.
Ivan was like, Nah,
I don't know if I can either, Eugene.
Oh my god.
All right, everybody. Stay tuned for more content and episodes from Yes Have Some podcast. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.